Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So we continue on our quest trying to test out every single Evercade cartridge on the Super Pockets. We've made it through all the console collections. We're now on to the arcade collections. There's 10 collections so far. So in this video we're going to be looking at collections 1 to 5. Some great carts in here, but are they suitable for the Super Pocket? Some of these games are obviously needing tatty mode, that vertically aspect ratio style games that don't really work on a small screen. So which carts are probably ones to avoid here? Which are must buy? Let's find out. Okay, let's have a look at the first collection. This is Arcade Collection number 1, Technos Arcade 1. Comes complete with 8 games. A reasonable collection, however, there are 3 games on here that use the sort of tatty mode on the EXP, or if you're lucky enough, the VS with a swivel monitor. So we've got Mysterious Stones, that's one of them. Blockout's a puzzle game. Combat Tribes, really good fighting game. Double Dragon 2, Double Dragon 3. Mania Challenge and Minky Monkey, they're both tatty mode style games. And Battle Lane Volume 5, that's also a tatty mode style game. So that's actually 4 games that you would probably ideally play on the EXP in tatty mode. However, can you play them on the Super Pocket with a stretch screen? Let's find out. Is this cart worth buying? Let's have a look at some of the games now. Okay guys, I'm not going to play through every game, but I will highlight issues that I've found whilst playing this. Now this is probably a good place to start. Battle Lane Volume 5. No idea what happened to Volume 1 to 4. Okay, as you can probably tell right away, this is a vertical aspect ratio style game. Tatty mode, and it's obviously not ideal for the small screen. Now playing it like this way, totally impossible. You can hardly see the firepower on the bike. That's coming from the bike even. It's just extremely difficult. So you can obviously stretch the screen. It's unplayable as it is, so it's really the only option that you have to make it full screen. And then really is up to you if you want to play the game like this or not. I don't know. It does, sometimes you can get away with it. It's not too bad from game to game. And I find this one's actually probably more playable than than having it normal. But it is still very hard to see the firepower that you fire from your motorbike, and also the firepower coming from the other bikes as well, or the other sort of enemy vehicles. It's a tough game, it really is tough. I didn't really enjoy playing this at the time, and I still don't enjoy playing it now. So it's really up to you if you want to sort of put yourself through the pain of playing this game in really a stretched sort of screen mode. Not ideal, and yeah, you can hardly see the firepower. You have so little time to react. It's painful. Okay, just going to move past Blockout. It's kind of like a 3D Tetris style game. I find it hard to play, not really that great to be honest. Let's jump into Double Dragon 2. Now there's going to be no massive issues with Double Dragon 2 and 3, apart from Double Dragon 3 being a bit of a juddery mess. But yeah, let's obviously insert the coin by pressing the select button and pressing start to get started into the game. Now arguably, probably the NES versions are better than the arcade versions. I'm not really sure. One thing for sure, the arcade versions are very tough to actually play. I found that the difficult level is excruciatingly hard to play through, and on that I really found myself wanting to play the NES versions rather than the arcade. But if you love Double Dragon, I'm sure you're going to love playing through this. Now obviously I'm talking about Double Dragon 3, might as well show you the juddery mess that it is. For me it's not very playable, I don't enjoy the experience at all. And you might think, oh maybe there's an emulation issue. Nah, that's just how it played. It's just a bit of a juddery mess. Look at the way the character walks, the constant That's terrible, that's terrible. Yeah, honestly, I just rather wouldn't play this at all. Okay, moving on to some more tatty mode style game. Now this is Mania Challenge. Again, Playing at the original ratio is unplayable, but if you stretch the screen, you might just get away with it. It does look a bit stretched, but it's probably just about playable. We don't have a lot of choice, to be honest, on Evercade. This is pretty much the only wrestling game we actually have. It's not too bad. The Minky Monkey and Mysterious Stones are exactly the same, really vertical aspect ratio style games. Stretch them to full screen, it's not bad, you could probably get away with it. But are they great games? Not really sure, I don't think they're amazing. Not entirely sure what the heck's going on in Mysterious Stones at all. One game that's definitely good and maybe even worth picking up this cart for is the Combo Tribes. Certainly an excellent game. It is a multiplayer game as well, but obviously in the Super Pocket you're playing by yourself. And on the Super Pocket it plays fantastically well. But is this enough to just buy this cart for this one game? Unless you're a big Double Dragon fan, that is. But personally I think this game is much better than Double Dragon. I think, as I said, there's 4 vertical aspect ratio games. Can't play them in the original ratio, completely unplayable. You could probably play them stretched, but maybe up to you. Personally, I'm not really sure that this is a cart that you want to buy for your Super Pocket. Okay, on to Data East Arcade 1, or Data East Arcade 1, depending on what you prefer. We've got 10 games on this collection. This is Arcade Collection number 2. And there are some really good games on here, no doubt about it. I don't think there's too many Tatty mode style games here, maybe 1 or 2. Burger Time is definitely one. You can maybe play it as a stretch screen, perhaps. I think Lock and Chase might be another one as well. But anyway, we've got Bad Dudes vs Dragon Ninja, an excellent arcade title. Gate of Doom, Wizard Fire. I think one is the sequel of the other, can't remember which way it is. Then we've got Breakthrough, pretty tough game. Tumble Pop, single screen sort of platformer style thing, collect them up. Darwin 4078 or 4078, that's a shooter. We've got Sly Spy. Now heads up, Sly Spy has issues whilst running on the Super Pocket. There's all sorts of breakups with music. The emulation just doesn't seem to work on that in certain parts of the game. The music judders all over the place. I'll show that in the video, not sure what's going on. I reckon we'll need a fix on the Super Pocket for that. We've got Chain Reaction, which is a kind of a bust a move style puzzle game, and Lock and Chase, which is kind of like a Pac-Man style single screen game. So anyway guys, a good collection. Let's have a look at some of the games now. Okay, Data East or Data East Arcade 1, let's have a look at Bad Dudes. This plays brilliant on the Super Pocket. Emulation is fantastic for this game. I don't really see any issues with this game. Obviously most of these games will be fine. You won't need to use the shoulder buttons at all with any of these games. Yeah, I'm really bad at this. I suppose one of the best things about some of these games, you can just keep inserting a coin after coin and just keep playing on. Unless you want to limit that, I guess you could. Personally, I don't really see why you would, but I guess if you want to challenge yourself, that's really entirely up to you. But this is pretty cool and looks fantastic on the Super Pocket. Okay, Breakthrough is a kind of a side-scrolling tank shooter type of thing, I don't know, some kind of vehicle shooting game. It's okay, it's pretty tough stuff. Now Burger Time, vertical aspect ratio again, let's have a look at it. So if you're playing the standard ratio, this is what you're going to be treated with. Unbelievably small, can't see a thing. I'm not sure this is playable. It's probably better than some of the other games I've seen, I guess, on this system, but would you want to play it like this? I don't know. Is it any better stretching the screen? So putting it to full screen, is it any better? The chef looks kind of fat to me, I don't know. Tricky game. It's got that sticky ladder syndrome that you can end up losing life after life because of that. Yeah, not really a favourite for me. Okay, we've got Chain Reaction. That's absolutely fine. It's kind of a puzzle style game like Bust a Move. So Darwin 4078 is a shoot 'em up. It's not bad. It's pretty tough though. Okay, Gate of Doom and Wizard Fire are pretty similar. I'll only play one of them. They are really good games and work great on the Super Pocket. Lock and Chase is another sort of vertical aspect ratio game. You really need to stretch the screen. And even stretching the screen, it isn't bad, to be honest. It's not bad at all. And even, probably arguably, it's probably better and looks great on the screen. But it's a very, very tough game to play through. It's so much harder than, I guess, the Pac-Man style games that it's kind of similar to. Rather than eating pills, I guess I'm stealing money or something, I don't know. Something like that. Okay, Sly Spy, we have serious issues with Sly Spy due to some problems with emulation. The music is not good. You'll hear it when I play through it. Probably put the sound up just so we can actually make it out a little bit better. That bit's okay.
Welcome, agent.
Okay, what am I doing? Now, the sound does start to cut up pretty quickly. As you can hear it, it's cutting up badly. This is just the first level. It gets worse as you go through the game. Don't know what's going on. I've never seen this problem on the other Evercade devices, but on Super Pocket it is having a nightmare. So if we go to some of the later levels, this is so much worse. And yet, you're really not going to want to play through this if this is how the sound is. I'm really struggling to play this for some reason. Don't know what's going on. Yep, sorry guys, that is obviously brutal. Okay, we've got Tumble Pop, was a kind of single screen game, a bit of like Parasol Stars, that type of thing. Wizard Fire, obviously much like the other game in the series, really decent. Let's have a look at it. So it's a bit like Gate of Doom, but I think this one is arguably better. I think this is the sequel. The only issue I found with this game is perhaps, as you can see, the text on the screen is a little bit small. But the main game is absolutely fine. It's just maybe some of the story within the sort of levels. You might see this. You can make it out, but it isn't the best. Very cheesy indeed. This one seems to emulate absolutely fine, so not entirely sure what's going on with Sly Spy, why that's so bad, but this one seems absolutely fine to me. And yeah, as you can see, it looks and plays fantastically well on the Super Pocket. Looks great, sounds great. Yeah, it is great. It really is a good game. Uh-oh. I'm not ready for this. Oh. Probably not the best way of doing this. Okay guys, overall, it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. Some really good games. Bad Dudes is fantastic fun. That's not great at all. Burger Time again, vertical aspect ratio, you'll have to play sort of full screen. Chain Reaction's alright, Darwin's a tough shoot 'em up. Dark Seal and Wizard Fire, both kind of similar, really decent games. Lock and Chase is good but a bit fun. Vertical aspect ratio again. Sly Spy, completely unplayable. This game seems broke to me. And then you get Tumble Pop, which is kind of good fun. It's a single screen game and that's it. So it's a kind of mixed bag for me. I probably couldn't recommend it given with the vertical aspect ratio games and the fact that Sly Spy is an absolute mess. Hopefully that will get fixed sometime soon. Okay, this is Gaelco Arcade 1, 6 games, and this is Arcade Collection 3. Now this was an absolute brilliant collection back when it was released on the Evercade platforms. I think at the time we only had the Evercade VS and the original handheld, but wow. Brilliant collection, but is it brilliant for the Super Pocket? So we'll certainly have a look at that. So Alligator Hunt, Thunderhoot, World Rally, Biomechanical Toy, Glass, Snowboard Championship. I don't really see any massive issues with this collection on your Super Pocket. It should work just as well. But anyway, let's check out some of the games. Let's make sure this one is still an amazing cart for the Super Pocket. Okay, this cart is full of bangers, absolutely amazing games. Let's jump straight into one of them, Alligator Hunt. amazing stuff. This game's bonkers, but brilliant. Just listen to that soundtrack. Honestly, what's not to love? A shooter on a skateboard. Yeah, superb. Banging tunes. Absolutely amazing stuff. Highly recommend this one, guys. Brilliant stuff. So pretty hard not to include playing all of these games, but I probably won't be able to do that in the video, but they all look and play fantastic. Let's jump into Biomechanical Toy. But what a terrific sort of scrolling, sort of run and gun style game. Obviously it does pack a challenge for sure, and it can be a little bit frustrating. So it's one of those ones you'll probably have to spam the save states to get further into the game, because you will die a lot, especially later in the sort of stages, like stage 3 onwards. Oh, it's just pretty horribly tough. But still, it's a very good game, and yeah, another one I would highly recommend from this cart. But don't linger about, the enemies just keep respawning. Okay, glass is alright, kind of a shooter style, clear the screen of all the glass, so to speak. A bit weird to describe it, but that's what it is. Snowboarding, that's pretty good as well. It's a snowboarding game. Plays a lot like World Rally, which we'll play in a minute. But we'll also have a look at Thunderhoop. That is a fantastic game too. Now this one is tough as heck as well, which is probably quite normal for arcade style games, I guess. But what a great looking game. Very addictive stuff. And it's another one you'll probably want to spam those save states to get decent progress. It's got boss levels as well at the end of sort of each level. Pretty tough, definitely, but it's good. It really is good. Just don't ask what's going on, because I don't really know. Some kind of experiment gone wrong, or gone right, I don't know. So lastly guys, I'm going to play World Rally, but I just have to say right here, if there's any cart from this video that you are going to buy, make it this one. So definitely one of the best carts you could buy for your Super Pocket, arcade wise that is. Brilliant stuff. This might just be one of my most favourite games on Evercade. I love it. Very addictive stuff. It is really all about reacting at the right time. Like a QTE style game. Quick time event. Sort of. Oh, not too bad. Okay, on to Atari Arcade 1. This has 13 games. This is Arcade Collection number 4. Okay, so this one definitely had some issues when it was first released, due to the fact that it just didn't feel right. The emulation was all over the place. But thankfully, Blaze have been working on this in the past couple of years, and they've definitely made the games better. The emulation is better in most aspects, I would say, though I probably wouldn't recommend this cart overall, because there's some games that just doesn't work. We've got the Tatty mode style games. We've got a couple of games that still doesn't work for me, like Pong and Super Breakout. Really need a kind of a paddle controller rather than D-pads. Night Driver is pretty awful. But yeah, if you have some nostalgia for this, you might like it. But overall, I don't think this is my most favourite collection. Probably the most poorest arcade collection that they've released. Some good games maybe, but I think overall it's poor value. Emulation is still needing a little bit of work, I would say, on some of the games. Crystal Castles seems to have issues as well with sort of juddering music, much like Sly Spy for some reason. It just has some issues, not sure why. Anyway guys, let's have a look at some of the games. If there's a cart you probably want to avoid, it's probably this one. Let's play Asteroids Deluxe, although it's not actually deluxe. It's just Asteroids. See here, it really just is Asteroids. Honestly, I don't even think this is the best version of Asteroids. I think I'd rather play like the 2600 version or the 7800 version, whatever versions. We've got, I think, 3 versions on Evercade. I really don't think this is the best one. And yeah, doesn't do much for me, this one. It's a tricky game. Okay, we've also got Canyon Bomber. Waste of time for me, don't like it. Centipede, much like Millipede, it's really not ideal because it's in the vertical aspect ratio. Ideally you want to stretch the screen like so, but if you obviously have it as normal, it's a bit like that. And it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. So Crystal Castles, I noticed some issues with. I don't know what was going on, it sounded a bit funny to me. Let's have a look at it. I guess you can hear that right away, that there's something not right with the sound. Now again, I'm not really that fussed with this version of Crystal Castles. I think I would rather play the Atari 2600 version as well. Just doesn't seem right. The controls aren't great, I feel. Reaching those diagonals are very tricky. And it just doesn't sound right. I don't know what's going on. The sound is all over the place. I think there's something wrong with the emulation on the Super Pockets. It just doesn't seem to work for me. And yeah, it's a tricky game to control. Personally, I wouldn't bother. Okay, Liberator, that's not too bad. It's kind of a shooter game. It's okay. Lunar Lander, I quite enjoyed playing this one on the EXP and probably even more so on the large screen where the sound is just phenomenally good on a big screen TV. But on the Super Pocket, oh no, it just doesn't work. Okay, so if we get started, you can probably see right away why it doesn't work. And it's nothing to do with the sort of size of the screen. It doesn't really make a difference what one you go for. Just you can barely see where your lunar module is. You can see it moving in the top left there, but it's absolutely tiny. It's one of those games that's actually it's almost therapeutic to play. Quite relaxing, trying to land your sort of lunar module onto the, obviously the flashing sort of score bonuses there, but yeah, the size of that screen just makes it a little bit unplayable for me. But this is one of the best sounding games for an old style game I've ever heard. It's amazing on a big TV, but not good for the Super Pocket, guys. You want to avoid this. Okay, Millipede, pretty much the same as Centipede, same idea. Missile Command's alright, but I think there's better versions on Evercade. Even on the Lynx collection, it's probably better to play. Night Driver, jeez man, absolute nightmare. And even worse, this game utilises the shoulder buttons to accelerate. Could it get any worse? Just double check, I think that does. Oh, wrong button. So double check, yeah, you can go through the gears there. You've got R1 to accelerate, and that is this button back here. So you're stretching your sort of right finger all the way around to try and accelerate while you play. Yeah, that's a stretch, and would you really want to put in the effort for this game? I would say no, because it's absolutely garbage. Then you obviously need to sort of press the gears to go up through the gears as well. With this, with the face buttons, this is an unplayable mess on the Super Pocket. Just forget it. To be fair, this isn't great in any version anyway, so you're not missing anything out if you don't want this. I have to say, Blaze have done a great job in the emulation update that they did a few months ago for this collection. It's certainly improved a lot of these games. Even this one, they've made it playable at least, because before the update it was an absolute mess. You could barely move the paddle, so to speak, or whatever it is, the bat, because it was a juddery mess. It's definitely better, there's no doubt it is better, but really, would you want to play this now, 2023? I doubt it. I definitely think it's better with a paddle, but on the D-pad it's definitely much improved. But on the Super Pocket, this is just as dull as it gets, really, isn't it? Okay, Skydiver is actually quite good fun. That one's okay, quite playable. Super Breakout, much like Pong, a bit of a juddery mess. It's definitely better than the last update that Blaze did, but it just still doesn't work for me on a D-pad. Warlords, meant as a 4-player game. It's kind of a fun, I guess, but this is meant as a 4-player game for the VS rather than a single-player experience on your Pocket, but it does work on the Pocket. So the idea is to try and deflect the fireball, I think it is, to the other castles and make sure you defend your castle and the last one surviving, I guess. Something like that. You'll see what happens in a second. So every time you hit the other castles, it takes a piece off, and if they penetrate your castle, it's game over. It is actually quite good fun, but probably more fun, I guess, as a 4-player game experience. So guys, I guess overall, it's probably one of those collections I would not recommend buying at all. It's not great on any of the Evercade products, EXP, VS, Super Pocket, nah, it's just even worse than it is on the EXP and VS. So probably one to forget, I would say. Okay guys, on to Arcade Collection number 5. This is Jaleco Arcade 1 with 8 games. Definitely a favourite when it was released. Still a very good cart. We've got 64th Street, a detective story, a beat 'em up, a Vengeance Spirit, a kind of a platformer, Battler. Now this is probably one for Tatty mode, but I think you can get away with it with a stretch screen. We've got EDF, a shooter, P47, another shooter, Rodland, a fantastic single screen sort of collect 'em up, beat 'em up kind of thing, clear 'em up. Saint Dragon and the Astyanax. A really good collection of games. Some tricky stuff in there, but a really excellent cart. Will this be perfect for your Super Pocket? Let's find out. Okay, thankfully guys, we're moving on to a better collection. Out of all 5 collections on this video, I would say Gaelco Arcade and Jaleco Arcade are the 2 that I would recommend buying. Some great collections, some great games here. Obviously Atari I would probably avoid. But anyway, let's have a look at 64th Street. I don't think this is perfect, to be honest, on here. I'm not sure what's going on. It seems to be a little bit slow for me. This is a really cool beat 'em up, but I can't help thinking that the character's moving even slower than he does on the Evercade EXP and VS. I know the game does play slowly, but it does feel to me like the character's moving on treacle just a little bit. I might just be imagining it, I don't know. It definitely feels a wee bit slow to me. But certainly a very good game. I enjoy playing through this one. The sounds are a little bit annoying though. So a Vengeance Spirit is a kind of a scrolling platformer shootery style game where you can possess the other enemies and you basically become that character, which is kind of weird, but it works, it's pretty good. Battler is a good shoot 'em up, which I think it is vertical aspect ratio style, but it does work if you stretch the screen. So by standard, this is how it looks. It's not the worst, you can't really read the text. Obviously I don't think I would recommend ever playing any of the games like this on the Super Pocket. But this one isn't too bad, but arguably, and yeah, I might get crucified for saying this, it actually plays pretty well even stretching the screen. And playing like this, you probably wouldn't even know it was a Tatty mode style game at all. Okay, Earth Defence Force, this one's actually really good. I was finding myself enjoying this one, even though it's a sort of shoot 'em up. I thought this was pretty decent on here. Now with this one you can just hold down the fire button and just move the D-pad, take out the enemies, easy peasy. Yeah, I say easy, it's not really easy. It's actually quite tricky, but I actually quite enjoyed playing through this one. It's actually pretty good. It's just a shame I'm not very good at playing these style games at all. But this does look pretty decent on the Pocket, I have to admit. I have to say, this is the longest I've ever lasted, she said. And what I like about this game as well, it's not a one-hit kill scenario. I think you've got a health bar at the top there, which I think you can take 2 hits before you actually die, which is, I think it might even be 3 hits overall, so that's good for me. I hate one-hit kill scenarios, really frustrating as heck to play. Oh wow. It's all about placement, isn't it? Just being in the right place without getting hit. And I made that surprisingly easy. Oh. Ah, jeez. I talked too soon, didn't I? Okay, P-47, the Phantom Fighter. That's another sort of horizontal shoot 'em up. That's actually quite good. Pretty hard as well, though. Rodland, wow. Fantastic single screen game. Let's have a look at it. It's a classic. Even the text is perfectly readable between the levels here. Just don't try to understand it. The story is a load of nonsense. Excellent, excellent game. So the idea is either, I think it's just to clear the enemies, but you can also collect the flowers for a bonus. And it adds an extra game, which is kind of cool. But I guess when you get into the later levels, trying to actually do that is pretty tough. It's all really about clearing the enemies from the screen. But I can't recommend this game enough. I think it's fantastic. Although it is absolutely solid, the amount of coins I had to insert to finish this game is just nigh on ridiculous. But still, it's such a fun game, I didn't mind. Just there was no way you would complete this back in the day in an actual arcade machine without spending fortune after fortune. Great game though, absolutely love it. Okay guys, we've got Saint Dragon, which is really good as well. I'll have a quick look at that, I might as well. This is another shoot 'em up. There's obviously a few shooters on this collection, so if you like your shooters, you'll probably enjoy these ones. They are all very, very decent. They're all, I think apart from Side Battler, they're all kind of horizontal style scrolling shooters. This one's probably the toughest of the lot though, I would say. I'm not particularly good at this one. I think arguably I'd probably prefer to play the Amiga version because it's a little bit easier maybe. But yeah, this is a class game. Probably not quite R-Type style difficulty, but yeah, it's not too far off. Okay, last game, might as well look at it. It's the Astyanax, which is absolutely nothing like the NES sort of version of it. This is, personally I prefer this version. I know a lot of people prefer the NES version. Don't know why, but I prefer this one. It has got something in common with it, whereas I feel the enemies just constantly respawn. It becomes a little bit repetitive, but still, I found this one quite good fun to play. Certainly more fun than the NES version, arguably. Didn't see any issues with it. I guess all the games here are absolutely fine, apart from Side Battler, which you can probably stretch the screen and get away with it, no problem. But again, like I said, there's no point in standing still in this game. The enemies just keep on coming. You really just have to keep moving and keep taking hits. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. That's all 5 carts checked out. Some good, some bad. Obviously I would say the Atari Arcade probably one to avoid. Maybe Technos, Data East probably aren't ideal. Some emulation issues here and there. I would definitely recommend Gaelco Arcade 1 and Jaleco Arcade 1. 2 excellent collections you really should get for your Super Pocket. The other ones, it's really up to you whether you want to take that chance. But thanks very much for watching the video. We will be back with arcade collections 6 to 10 before we move on to the home computer collections. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.